Great morning, great morning, great morning. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the It's About You radio show here at WDRB Media, the voice of the community. Each and every Tuesday morning here at 8 o'clock in the morning, I have the honor and the privilege to share some information with you that's designed to make you be the best you can be, to challenge you to do the best you can be. And I always say, I don't take this platform lightly. I don't take it for granted. This show is designed to get into your ear and hopefully into your heart and maybe into your feet to get you to move and do things that you know you need to do for whatever reason that you have not done them so. And because it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so I know someone is showering, someone's having breakfast, someone's in their car, someone's in the office. I always want to say thank you for tuning in for the It's About You radio show. In today's show, as I always start off with, before I get into the show, into the topic and everything else, I always give the morning quote of the day. And the morning quote of the day is very simple, guys. Very simple morning quote of the day. And the quote is, it says, sometimes later becomes never. So do it now. Sometimes later becomes never. How often have you said, I'll do it later? I'll get around to it later. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Or I'll get around to it someday. Well, guess what? I know there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way to Sunday, but I haven't found one day on the calendar. Procrastination. Yeah, that's what it boils down to. Do it now. There's nothing like now, because tomorrow's not promised, and there is nothing like doing it right now. How many times have you delayed your success? You delayed your future because you kept waiting for one day. And you look up and 1 year's gone by, 2 years gone by, 3 years. You know you want to lose some weight, you want to get healthier, and you know you need to go walk. Go walk now. Well, I'll do it later. And then when it's too dark. Oh, my TV show is on now. Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. And there's that procrastination. Some of you right now listening, you've been putting off your education. You've been wanting to go take a class. You've been wanting to take a computer class. You've been wanting to do whatever it is you wanted to do. You've been wanting to volunteer. Oh, I'll do it one day. I'll do it one day. I want you to take the one day out of your vocabulary, because there's nothing like right now getting it done simply because you're supposed to. Because the quote says, sometimes later becomes never. And that is an anonymous quote. I don't know who wrote that quote, who said that or quoted that, but I saw that and I said, oh yeah, that is so real. Stop procrastination. That's the one nation you don't need to be in, okay? You would get out of that situation. And by the way, that quote today is brought to you by MauriceMcDonald.net. MauriceMcDonald.net. Go to MauriceMcDonald.net and learn all about your gut microbiome health. All about P84, ladies and gentlemen. P84 is great for your gut. With that said, guys, it's not ironic that I chose that quote today because, I'm always, my story. If you've been listening for a while, I'm a retired law enforcement officer, 30 years, professional school counselor, and now teaching at a college. And so I've been serving for 4 decades. And along that path, I've come across some amazing students. And I always highlight my tribe. I found my tribe. One of the reasons I'm still uneducated because I can't let go of the rush it gives me to watch people succeed, especially those with a story, especially those that go against the grain and maybe should not win, should not make it. My former students, I have gone from people who got a PhD now, but they got a GED here at the college. They went from a GED to a PhD over a 12-year period. People who've been in recovery, people who've been incarcerated, people who now have master's and degrees and license and doing well, have their families and all that. And well, today is no different. No different. And by the way, my students are very diverse. There are people from all walks of life, different countries, different languages, different religions, just like America, a diverse group of people, what we have. And so today I'm going to interview one of my amazing students, MJ Vang. MJ Vang. And MJ is one of the students that back in probably 2017, I believe I met her, and she graduated in 2019 with her associate's degree at the college and went on at Queen's University and got her bachelor's degree and now has her master's degree and now studying master's in social work from UNC Charlotte and is now studying for licensure as well as I am. You've heard me say that before, and I can feel that. And by the way, she did all that with a spouse and children. Oh my goodness. So some of you who've been hearing about what I just said, one day later, I got kids, I can't make it, you don't understand. There are so many single moms and single dads taking care of their children, taking care of elderly people, but yet they're about their business. They're doing what's required of them. They're doing it in pain. They're doing it scared. They're doing it struggling. They don't know how they're going to pay for it, but they're getting it done. They're not making excuses. And so MJ is one of those individuals that has been, and by the way, she'll mentor other people as well. So I've been talking about a lot. I'm going to welcome MJ to the show.
Thank you, Professor McDonald. As Professor McDonald said, so my full name is Maijia Vang, but I do go by MJ for short. And I want to thank you, Professor McDonald, Professor Lopez, and just so many professors here at CPCC who really inspired and were a part of my journey.
Yes, Professor Lopez, Tommy Lopez, and he retired. He left me here at the college, but guess what? He was one also. We poured into students just like you. I know I shared a little bit about your path or whatever, but let my listeners know who you are, where you're from, your nationality, a whole bit, and why you chose human services and social work.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see where to start. So I'm Asian American, and I'm specifically Hmong, and 33 years old, have 2 kids, as Professor McDonald says. And let's see, I chose human services. At that time, I was this really shy girl, like woman, and I wasn't sure because I had already flunked out of college, I think, and also dropped out of college like twice already at that point. And so when I came back, I wasn't sure what exactly to major in, but I just knew that, from all the help that I've received through my journey, from whether it's doctors, social workers, therapists, that perhaps, giving human services a try. And I remember sitting in Professor McDonald's class, Intro to Human Services, if Professor McDonald remembers, and just being very scared and not knowing how the work was going to look like, but just taking it, one step at a time. But I really got into it because I was just inspired to help others, and I knew that was my path to help and give back to the community.
Help and giving back, and I don't want to gloss over what you said because somebody need to hear that loud and clear. Yeah. That you had dropped out. Mm-hmm. You said twice.
Yeah, dropped out. Yeah, about twice. And then, another time was I had flunked out of college, and so that's when I transferred to it was another community college. It was in California at the time, mm-hmm. when I was very young, like 18 or 19, mm-hmm. and at the time I had my daughter. So there was just a lot of changes.
Right. And that transformation, this is for people who, because I too, that speaks to me because my first time in college, I wasn't ready. Yeah. I was a sophomore. I was having fun, in college, right out of high school. And yeah. I went to an all-boys high school. Then I went to Hunter College in the Bronx. Manhattan, New York. And I'm there. And it was 35,000 daytime matriculated students and 85% female. And I lost my mind as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old in college. I'm going to have a good time. Yeah. I'll make a C and all that stuff. And so I had like a 2.5 GPA, wasn't taking it seriously. Yeah. And that conversation with my Jamaican father kind of changed that whole point. If you don't get these grades up, you're going to the Army. I'm thinking, oh my God,
Yeah.
And so, so I can relate to that because oftentimes people aren't ready.
Yeah.
They're not ready at that time, and it's okay.
Yeah.
That is okay. So for parents who are listening to this, if you got a child that's in college and you're forcing them to go to school and whatever else, and they're not engaged, give them time, give them space. It is okay. They're not ready, and you can't. It's like a cake. If the directions say bake at a certain temperature for 45 minutes, you can't make it 20 minutes and turn the temperature gauge up on it because the thermostat up because you're gonna destroy. It's not ready yet.
Sure.
So let them do it because guess what? When they discover, and what I'm hearing MJ say, when you discovered what you wanted to do to help people, then you were able to come to school and get your path right. Is that correct?
Yeah, and also want to add to that too is that like I was living check to check and I was a jack of all trades, and by that I mean that I was doing retail. I worked, at a furniture company. So I was like living check to check, and it was hard. It was hard, and that's when I just, I came to a realization of like, okay, I need to change something, with my life and also for my kids' future.
Because that paycheck to paycheck will wear you out.
Yeah.
And there's so many people, especially now, who are listening to this who can relate to paycheck to paycheck. And sometimes people come back to school. Find your niche. Find something that you can go do, earn more income perhaps, prepare yourself for. It doesn't have to be the 4-year degree, the PhD, whatever it is. If trade school, whatever you choose to go back to do, of course, get busy. Get busy doing that and making decisions. So when you said you wanted to help people, I believe it's important that we all find out why. Why you do it. Because oftentimes people will hear the social sciences or the counseling or social work and they're calling, oh my God, do-gooders. And, why you want to do that? Because some people will discourage you from going into these type of fields. You can't make any money and you're going to be broke. You hear all of those kind of things. What are your thoughts along those lines?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why my parents, they were like early on, and also my grandma too was encouraging with, be a nurse. Don't do anything else because it's like you're not gonna make a whole lot of money. And that's also, within the Asian American, there's just that social status, right, that they would like to maintain. And I forget what your other question was.
The idea of what are your thoughts along the line of having individuals to choose their path versus trying to be pigeonholed, as you said, for a parent trying to tell their child, what to do if the child's not happy.
Yeah. Like giving kids grace, allowing them to make decisions for themselves because it's going to take a while for them to find themselves. Very much so like myself. Because kind of like the example you gave, the analogy, right, of like the thermostat, right, and the cooking time and all that, that's important. Yeah,
that part is so important to do that, and I'm glad you hear when you talk about the Asian parents, because I have a friend of mine who's Vietnamese and is so she was so hard on her child to be perfect in all those ways and you should be a doctor, that the whole idea so that the family could say, oh, my daughter, I have a doctor in the family.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah, and so oftentimes, and the child didn't want it. And to turn it out, she wanted to be a hairstylist. That's what made her happy. And finally, the mother allowed her to do that. So I think it's so important when we start to, to help people along those lines. So now you were, you graduated from Queen's University, and what was your bachelor's degree in?
Bachelor's was also in human services.
Human services, and then your master's from UNC Charlotte?
Yeah, master's was master's in social work.
In social work, okay.
Yeah, correct.
And you're doing, and now where are you currently working now?
So currently I am with Victory Family and Counseling, and I do that full-time as a LCSWA, Licensed Clinical Social Worker Associate. And My part-time or PRN job is with the hospital as a clinical case manager. So that's, involves like medical social work.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And so, what are some of the clients the types of clients do you see?
I see all walks of life, like you said earlier, like diverse mix, different age demographics to different race, religion. Yeah, so I have them all. Yeah. Well, if not all,
Right,
most of
right.
them. Yeah.
And medical, so that means there's some of them are in hospitals, or
Mm-hmm.
you make home visits and those types of things, or have a
Mm-hmm.
caseload.
Caseload at the hospital. Yep. So, since I'm PRN, then when I come in, they just assign me whatever unit. So I've been in ICU, PCU, med surge. OBS unit as well too. But I would say at the hospital specifically, I do get like more older folks than young folks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Older
Mm-hmm.
folks, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So at the end of the day, what I guess when I mentioned about your why,
Yeah.
what is your typical day like?
Typical day like, okay, so for, okay, I would say, so for my, with Victory Family Counseling as my LCSWA, there I get in about 9 a.m. and I start counseling right away, right? I used to take notes, while my, clients are talking, and now I make a habit of like, typing it instead, right? So, I let them know too, like, hey, you have my full attention. If you see me typing, I'm just typing, what you say as we go, and also just not, noting anything that comes to my mind of, things that I hear that's going on in their life, right? Or perhaps, areas that we can kind of, highlight or work on. And then, so I probably do about like about 4 sessions in the morning, and then have lunch about an hour, and then do another 4 or 5 sessions, later on. So I probably finish about 7 p.m. at night. But I will say that, and then depending on the day too, I will hit the gym really early in the morning, so 5 a.m. And then that's when I'll come back home, I'll rush home, take care of my kids, get them situated, and that's when I'll start my day with like counseling. But then the day before, I would also make sure that I prep my meals and all that. So it's a lot. It's packed.
Yeah, so you just stuck my something that just resonated with me because I too am part of the 5 a.m. club.
No, really?
Yes, I that get up in the morning because my next question is going to ask you about self-care.
Yeah.
And I think you hit some of it there.
Yeah.
But what, because I know we always talk about with our clients self-care. Would you talk about what self-care is and why people need to have it? Because oftentimes people get stressed out.
Yeah.
Their plate is full. They got all things are stretched. They have 8 different things they got to do.
Yeah.
They need 28 hours a day, and there's only 24.
Yeah.
And they're neglecting their health and everything else.
Yeah.
So let my audience know what self-care is and why that is important.
Yeah. So self-care is just exactly as it says, like taking care of yourself, right? So nourishing yourself. So if that means going to, going to the spa, right? Or going to a nail salon or getting your hair done. But just making sure that it is consistent, because otherwise, burnout or compassion fatigue can happen. And especially in the helping field, as Professor McDonald knows, it takes a toll when you're helping hurting people and you're hearing their trauma and their hardships and experiences. A lot of people are, at times too, some clients and patients are projecting a lot of anger or whatever emotion towards us in the helping profession. And so that self-care keeps us balanced and mentally and emotionally well.
Yeah, so if somebody has a job and they're not a therapist, but they're a teacher or they're a truck driver or they work at a convenience store. No matter what the occupation is, where they find themselves, self-care is a part of that.
Yeah.
And what are some of the downfalls of individuals who don't do self-care or they're not engaged in self-care at all?
Yeah. So like what I said earlier, right? The burnout is real. And I hear that a lot, and especially in our field, a lot of clinicians will burn out really fast, and depending on their caseload too, and the agency that they're with, and the expectations, or if if they're doing, two jobs like how I am too, right? Like it can be overwhelming, and then there's also compassion fatigue, right? So getting to a point of being exhausted with, being compassionate, because we're expected, right, to always be empathetic and compassionate, in the helping profession. And so, all of that is real. So it's important to just, I don't call it, I mean, some will say, okay, well, that's selfish, to like want to take a day off for yourself or whatever it may be. But it's like, no, I mean, it's self-nourishment and self-fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope people reframe it that way instead of selfishness.
Absolutely. Reframe that, because it's important. Oftentimes, too, that fatigue of no self-care leads to horrible diets. Mm-hmm. I'll just grab something real quick, and you're living on fast food. You're living on high carbs, and now you're gaining weight, which leads to other issues in the body.
Yeah.
Doctor visits and prescriptions, and I can't sleep at night, and it's just, it's like a domino effect. It just gets worse.
Yeah.
And I noticed for me, I had to make that decision. I had to have that conversation with myself and say, wait a minute, you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know better. Self-care is important. So the idea of me hiring a personal trainer to get myself started, and then somebody I had to be accountable to, paying money up front.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And then that let me drop these 30 pounds, and I got, 25 more to go. And now I can walk 3 miles every morning, some days 5. And that journey of lots of water, no soft drinks, and just eating well, that part is very good.
Yes, yeah. I love how you point that out, and I'm happy for you, and congratulations on that, because, I mean, even when I saw you too, I was like, Professor McDonald looks different.
Yes.
So, like, I love that for you. So similar to your story too, I was at 165 pounds, I think, when I had, graduated with my master's. And then I dropped also 7 pounds. I mean, now I'm at 125, so people can do the math for that. I'm sorry, I'm not a mathematician.
That's okay.
But so now I'm like about 130 pounds. I also made diet changes, right? Had to be conscious of what I eat and how much I eat, so portion control as well too. And all of that, I mean, that made a difference, because it was in my master's program when I was diagnosed with an incurable disease. And I was having a lot of health issues, and I wasn't, really sure what was going on. The doctor, of course, I mean, being in the medical field, I should know this, but doctor kept telling me, like, hey, you gotta cut off, salt, caffeine, alcohol, like reduce it or avoid it as much as you can, because it would spike up my disease. But so that's pretty much what I did when I started to cut that out, and also just also working out, as you said too, right? Similar to yours. Then I feel so much better in my life.
It's that journey, because oftentimes I know people are listening, and I hear people say, well, I don't have time to work out. I put it this way: you have time to go to the hospital. You'll have time to be bedridden. You'll have time to purchase expensive pills, medicine.
Oh yes.
All the things that you say you don't. Everybody's got 24 hours in a day. And you get your 7 or 8 hours of sleep. And you're going to work your 8. It's what you do after work or before work. As my trainer said for me, he said, get a win early in the morning. He said, get up early, get your walk in early. You don't have to run. You don't have to go out. You don't need a gym membership if you can't afford it, no problem. But if you get up and get your walk on, as he says to me, for me to get my 5,000 steps in before 9 a.m.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Walking. And now I find myself getting 7,000 steps in by 7 o'clock in the morning, because I get up early and go get it done.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He says, no matter what happens the rest of the day, you start out with a win.
Yeah.
Your health, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, every other day, get that routine down. And then, of course, planning your food.
Yes.
Prepping, because he says if you're not planning your meals, you're planning to fail. Because if you go hungry, he says, and I eat well.
Yeah.
But the key thing is the portion control, what I eat, when I eat it, shut it down.
Yeah.
Nothing past 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, nothing.
Yeah.
Drink water, plenty of water.
Yeah.
The sweet teas, he says, don't drink your calories.
Mm-hmm.
All the sugar and everything in there. I know somebody's listening to us going, oh my God, they're taking away all my stuff I like.
Yeah.
But the key thing is, I had to take responsibility for my own health, take part of my own rescue.
Yeah.
Because the key thing is, we hear people having illnesses and they're struggling with a lot of things going on in their lives.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it leads to depression.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in the counselor's office or the therapist's office.
Yeah.
And you're talking to people and they're in tears because they got a diagnosis that, they didn't want. And sometimes it's because of the weight or having had knee surgery and hip surgeries and all the things that they're on 5 medications and there's a reaction to this one and it costs $100 for me to buy, and it's a lot of issues that some of it can be avoided over time by taking part in your own rescue. Because that's my whole point now, is to say I'm not just going to be a victim anymore because I'm responsible for what happens to me. So I tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Did you know all disease begins in the gut? It's true. Your gut is the foundation of your entire health. When it's balanced, your body thrives. But when it's out of balance, everything from fatigue, weight gain, mood swing, and chronic illness begins. Your gut isn't just about digestion. It's home to trillions of bacteria that affects your immune system, your energy, and your emotions. The good news is there's P84. 84 fruits and vegetables organically grown all over the world into an amazing product designed to help you to feel better, designed to help you thrive and win. Simply go to MauriceMcDonald.net. That's MauriceMcDonald.net to learn all about P84 and get it in your system today. That's MauriceMcDonald.net. And learn all about your gut microbiome. Okay, we're back. We're back here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community, the It's About You radio show here on Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. I am amazed, and we're sitting here talking with MJ Vang, my former student who's a therapist. I was about to say licensed therapist. I'll speak that into existence, and she's going to pass that test, and I'm going to pass mine as well. So that's what we're going to do. And started here at the college, and you heard her tell a story about, number one, first time wasn't ready for college, but she got it together, got her life together. She's a mom of 2 amazing children, getting her life together physically, emotionally, and all those kinds of things, and now doing an outstanding job. Also, she's come back to my class several times to speak to the current students because, I can say things to the students, and they don't maybe believe me and say, oh, you can make it, you're going to do it, and what I say may go in one ear and out the other ear, but when they look at a student that went the same journey, went to the same college they did, and hear their stories, and now they've made it, it's a sense of inspiration, a sense of, I can do this. She did it, and she had children. Oh, I got 2 children. Oh, I dropped out before. And sometimes people say, oh, I'm too old. I'm 28 years old. I'm 30 years old. Too old to go back to school and all those kinds of things. But she's proof that it doesn't matter your age, because we have students here from age 18 all the way to 65 years of age to come in to share their hopes and dreams and visions to do that. But MJ, I want to talk a little bit about the idea of being a therapist or being a counselor and some of the stigma that some people have about going to counseling. Culturally, as an African American, I know sometimes, especially men, they may see I'm not going to counseling. It's a sign of weakness.
No.
But what are your thoughts about if someone chooses to go to counseling? Because I personally see it as a strength. What are your thoughts about that?
So when they choose to go to counseling, it's because they want to work through something, right? It could be life transitions, from, moving to divorce or a breakup, or maybe a death or loss in the family, right? Grief that's associated to it. And then there's also trauma and crisis at times too. Yeah. And then, of course, and there's also, depending on their diagnosis, it can be, for their mental health, right? Like a borderline personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder. I mean, the list goes on.
Mm-hmm. So by going there, they can discover some things about themselves, and usually, sometimes it could be something from the past that's still lingering. And they're not aware of it, and and so in your experience when it comes to this, what do you think is some of the reasons why somebody should go to counseling?
They should go to counseling for, obviously the mental and emotional health, right? Every person, I hope that they listen to the body and how they're feeling, and knowing that don't wait for a crisis to happen, right, to get to that point, and just go to maintain it. And then the other piece is, if they have certain goals that they would like to work on, right? Or if it's childhood trauma, or perhaps that they were involved in an accident, that was traumatic. But those would be the reasons that they should go. Yeah.
I concur with you 100%, because I realize that I view it as there are people who will go to the medical doctor if they have a fever, or their upset stomach, or they got these headaches or dizzy. They'll get a checkup from the neck down, but a checkup from the neck up, I'm good, I'm fine, and they're gonna judge me. If you have had someone that come to your sessions and their thought was that you were going to judge them?
Either judge them, or that, also depending on maybe perhaps like previous experiences with other counselors, right? Or if not with counselors, with their own, like family members or something, not keeping something discreet, right? Or, confidential and divulging it. So they're, afraid of that. I've had, some, have said to me, and will continue to say, like, I don't know why I'm still here, like in counseling, because they sometimes want a solution, and it's like, we're as therapists, we can't just give you solutions. We, if anything, can offer suggestions, right? And if anything, I like to just give this analogy of, like, to all my clients of, like, you're in a dark tunnel, right? I'm there with you. And so we're walking this path together, and I'm the one holding the flashlight. So, in certain areas, we're just going to look, in your life where perhaps we might need to shine a light on, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to have all of the answers and all the solutions. I think that's a misperception sometimes, is that, oh, you're the fairy godmother. You will wave the wand and make all my problems go away, and you will have all the solutions and answers. It's like, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't. And I'll empower my clients with that, of like, you can conceive your own solutions. Yeah.
Right. To go through that, because oftentimes people will come to us and wanting us to tell them what to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because all their life they may have been told, I'm a loser, I'm the black sheep of the family, nobody, I'm not smart, not my sister, and or somebody's always been telling them, you should do this.
Yeah. And
they'll come ask you, well, what do you think I ought to do?
Yes, that happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course our famous answer is, what do you think?
Exactly. What do you think? What would you like to do?
Yes, because what's one of the reasons why we don't tell people what to do?
Because when it comes down to value imposition, almost, right? Like us imposing our values and our views, onto them. So it's more important to empower them with that decision, right, for themselves, of like, what are your thoughts? What would you like, to do for yourself? Or how do you envision your life 5 years from now?
How do you envision? Because they ultimately have to make the decision. And if we gave them advice and it didn't work out, they're going to blame us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you told me to do this and those types of things. And that stigma of why people need to go, because I'm a firm believer that we all go through some things.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them there's not a therapist on planet Earth that doesn't go to therapy themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
If you find one, if you have a pastor or a priest that doesn't have someone they can go confide in, run away from them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we all have to have that checkup from the neck up and have that quality of life or that self-care that I need that mental health day.
Yeah.
Today is not the day. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
I need clarity. I need a day without my kids. I need a day without doing anything. Even if staying home, just curl up in bed for a day.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Absolutely.
And there's so many people put pressure on themselves to be productive all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Perfection.
Yes.
And that's such a stressful place.
Yeah.
To be. What do you think about children?
Mm-hmm.
Children who need counseling and parents who don't believe in it or don't want counseling, putting some foolishness in my child's head. Because I know as a former school counselor, I had children come in, they would say things, but they needed someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And of course, as a school, I couldn't provide that, but I had to do referrals. After they talk to me and I get that sense, to get them. What are your thoughts about children needing counseling?
So I would say, believe it or not, my caseload, I would say about 75% of my caseload are kids, and so I would say to parents, like paying attention to like kids, right, and knowing that they need counseling when they are acting out of how they normally would behave, right? Noticing signs, whether they start, being more anxious, like biting their nails or something, or that they're also, actually coming to parents, right, and saying, hey, like, I need help. I need to see someone, I need to talk to someone. Like, listen to that, trust your child, and get them the help that they need. But, also legally, right, by law, too, kids can make mental health, decisions for themselves as well, too, So.
And I look at this as such a situation because just like when parents grow up, we're a product of what's happening in our home, our environment, and keep the family secrets. Don't go tell our business.
Oh, yeah.
And oftentimes the business is what I know. I used to have parents come in because I work 2 jobs and 3 jobs and she's causing trouble at home. Fix her. She's the problem. And then you talk to the child and realize that there's a lot going on at home.
Yeah.
That many folks don't realize that it's not just one individual that needs help in the family.
Yeah.
Could you speak to that?
Yeah. So it's not just kids, and it's sometimes like as parents, it's hard for us to look at ourselves of like, oh, like maybe perhaps I might be the problem, right? Or I have contributed, right, to some of this as well too. That acknowledgement and awareness is important. And so a lot of times I will talk to my parents, right, about, okay, if there needs to be more home structure, right, or maybe chores in the home, right, that sense of responsibility for the child, praising and rewards, as well as consequences, natural consequences for their behaviors. All that's going to play a role. And also, I encourage all my parents, and I also would encourage listeners, right, that to do the parent-child interaction training, right, with the 2 verbal warnings. Because a lot of times, myself included as a parent, I will issue 5 warnings, and kids will continue doing that because their brains obviously is still growing, and will continue to grow right until they're in, in their 20s, and so they will test limits, they will test boundaries, and especially if they know that boundaries are a little lax with their parents. So I always encourage all my parents, like 2 verbal warnings. That's it. So hey, Bobby, stop doing that. And then if Bobby continues doing it, just an example, then you issue the if then. So Bobby, if you continue to do this, then you're going to lose your electronic privileges for the day, and then, and then go from there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Give that consequence.
Yeah. And maintain them.
Right.
Maintain the boundaries, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Because,
that's right.
Yeah, it just depends on, the case scenario, right? But in the family.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that because that is so key because evidence talks about when there is those changes brought about, when you start to give those consequences, the behavior often gets worse before it gets better. Because as soon as you get worse, you say, oh, it's not working.
Yeah.
And you go back to what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And also, let me go ahead and put this out here for parents. And first and foremost, we're not here telling you how to parent, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
What we're doing is helping you to understand children. When you're working with children and or anybody, especially with kids, if all you use are threats and physical violence and yelling, and that's your go-to. Yeah. That's all you do. It loses its effectiveness. Yeah. It's kind of like this. If the analogy that I use is, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So all you're going to do is nail. Yeah. The only tool I have is a hammer. And you know what a hammer is good for? Driving nails out in or taking nails out. And so developing some different tools is so important to if you're working with children in this setting. So what are some of your thoughts along that line, MJ?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said. And so that's why I also encourage like sitting down with, parents sitting down with kids and talking to them like, hey, like, how is your day? How are you feeling? Like what's going on at school, right? Like know what's going on with your child, I mean, because I know as parents, like we fall into this routine and we're just like on the go, 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 go. And so sometimes we may forget, right, that, I mean, our kids have had a long day or maybe something has, has happened and they can't share it with us. So, and I think another piece too is, fostering this like safe, place, right, for your child to be able to come and, talk, to us. Yeah.
That part, talking. And that's so hard, parents. I can tell you right now, go ahead on and sit down and get yourself in a good spot. Because even if your child is saying something to you that you don't like, they're going against your moral system, everything you've taught them, and you're making faces and you're mad at that they're doing it. They skip school, let's just say. They skipped school, or they told you they smoked. They started smoking. Or they drank some alcohol. And inside of you is taking everything inside of you to not just grab them and start yelling and screaming or throwing a shoe at them or something or whatever you feel like doing. But as long as your child is talking to you, that is the key part. Even if let's talk about the choices you made. And I know we always go with the why question. Why do you do that? Why? Yeah. Learning how to keep that child talking to you rather than somebody else. Because I know the school counselors, they would come talk to me. Things, why didn't you tell me? Parents would always come in with the yelling at them. Now I kind of know why the child didn't talk to you. Because if everything you do is a yell, and I know you may say this, I was raised like this. My mama did this to me and I turned out okay. Yeah, I agree with that. What are some of your thoughts along that line, MJ?
Yeah, I mean, that it is a common one, and that's where it's not so much asking why, like why did you do this, but more so of like what happened. Tell me, what happened in your own words and what you saw or what you experienced.
Yeah, that part is so important because remember, communicating with the children is so important.
Yeah.
And with that same load, it's kind of like this. A vacuum cleaner, when it collects so much dust, or a rug, if I keep putting the dust up under the rug, I don't take away the dust. I just hide the dust. It's going to build up allergies and everything else, or your vacuum cleaner is clogged. It's not working like it used to be. Well, the same thing happens emotionally with parents or in everything else that happens.
Yeah.
You got to have a safe place to go talk and vent.
Yeah.
And venting on the children or your spouse or whomever that you just yell at and and this goes, that is that counseling. Going back to getting that safe place. Yeah. Counseling is a safe place to go it's a judge-free zone. No therapist is going to judge you.
Yeah.
So no matter what you say, there's not going to be any judgment
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know you that way.
Mm-hmm.
They're there to help guide, help you process. I love the analogy you use with the flashlight in the tunnel.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if I got the flashlight
Mm-hmm.
in the tunnel and we're pointing out some things that we're seeing in the tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
eventually that should go from a flashlight to a floodlight
Mm-hmm.
or spotlight
Mm-hmm.
because that tunnel's not dark anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The brighter the light, when you start to peel that onion, so to speak, when you start to see things, so that part is so important, which means sometimes you need to go talk to somebody so that I don't, as I heard someone say, I need to talk to somebody so I don't kill my kid. You know, so I don't punch him in his face. I just want to punch him in his face because he's or whatever. I've had because of frustration.
Yeah, yeah.
Frustration from the job, frustration from everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You want $400 sneakers, and I got to pay the rent. I got, and the kids, and I need to go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts about because somebody goes to talk that doesn't make them a bad person or something wrong with them?
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's also in part because of the stigma of mental health, right? And, like centuries ago, like what has been practiced, but I think that, yeah, going forward, I mean, doesn't mean that you're less than a person. Doesn't mean that you're not worthy, right? Or you're not enough, or whatever it is, right? That the messages have been, to them growing up, about seeking mental health counseling or support. It's really about what it is that they are wanting, and to do, right, and most importantly, right, to improve their mental health and well-being. Yeah.
Improving that mental health and well-being. That is the ultimate goal. It's kind of like this idea of the weight loss process.
Mm-hmm.
It's the better off. Not a byproduct is just looking better in clothes. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But the first priority is my health.
Yeah, yeah.
Their health.
Yeah.
And it along every step, it's going to be some difficulty.
Yeah.
Getting up in the morning, you don't feel like it. I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with counseling. I don't feel like going. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But one step at a time to help me get better, feel better, be a better parent, be a better employee. I believe some people get fired at work because of the work-related issues like EAP.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, do you see any clients from EAP that employee assistance programs?
I don't, but when I was interning and still with the master's program at UNC Charlotte, I was, with another agency, and so they were seeing EAP.
Right. And for those who don't know what EAP is, many companies around the country now, they offer counseling.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 4 or 5 sessions, and they'll pay for it.
Yeah.
And also, I know that's one of the reasons why people say, I can't afford counseling. Well, there's some agencies with sliding scales. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, sliding scales, where depending on their income, and every agency is going to vary because depending on their income, then, they would have to pay a certain amount, right? Or it depends on what they negotiate with the agency as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And that way you get your sessions in if you need more, because I know here at the college, they offer that. They offer counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Students can get 6 sessions and 8 more. And if they need referrals, they can refer out, because the idea is getting people healthy. As I said earlier, we have no problem going to a doctor. Medical doctor, pills, their offices are full. But the idea, then you have sometimes so many people have to get mandated court-ordered counseling, or spouse, related, mandated. If you don't get help, the kids and I are leaving. If you don't need, if something's going to happen, I can't do this anymore. Those types of things. But what are some of your thoughts along those lines?
Well, medical is more valued, right, than mental health. And so that's also why, the compensation, right, differences when it comes to, medical, right, healthcare versus mental health. It's just not valued the same when it should be, right? And I mean, we are moving forward in the right step right here in the U.S., but there's still some, more improvements to be made. with
Mm-hmm.
mental health support and filling that gap with medical
Right.
support. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about, or if you've had some issues when you've worked with clients who are male?
Mm-hmm.
How do they perceive you or respond to you?
So so I've realized that with males in particular, like I tend to not I avoid confrontation. Not saying that confrontation can be anything negative. It can definitely be positive, and I've used it right with whether it's my parents or couples or females, right, or if they're also gender fluid, right. But I find that with males in particular, I have to use confrontation early on. That's usually the preference. Like they like something, like there's what they would like from a therapist, right, is more someone more straightforward, and I guess blunt.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that I have to use more of that tactic with them is, some confrontation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard you say your parents and those type of things. What is it like for your family to know what you do and how you do, or other people of Asian culture
Oh, yeah.
coming to you, or do you have many Asian clients?
I don't, because actually too, like the statistics even show, right, which is why I'm in the field that I'm in, right, because Asian Americans have the lowest mental health counseling rate. So that's just, it's very disappointing. And so, but ultimately I also understand by the background of it, if there's just a lot of stigma within mental health, and and especially among a lot of Asian Americans, like they're just not open to it just yet, so there's just various reasons to that.
Yeah, and which is one of the reasons why when I have students here who are bilingual from Hispanic males and females, Asian, whatever, it is so important that you all are in this field.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think about the little girls in school who see you and they realize, oh, I can be a therapist. That's what I'm going to do. I want to help people. Whether it's education or whatever it's in, because people are watching.
Yeah.
And to be an impact.
Yeah.
And I call it be a blessing to be a blessing, and helping people, because we are part of that helping profession that is so real. And I just know that from your journey through school here, and then going on and getting your post education it has been an impact on the community to helping. Do you think at some point in time those numbers could change in terms of people? What do you think is going to be the impact of getting people who normally don't get counseling to maybe start to go more?
Yeah. I don't know in terms of the numbers, because I mean I remember writing a paper too in my master's program about mental health counseling among Asian Americans, and I'm just not sure if the numbers will change, like to where it can increase that a bit, just because I mean not only is the Asian American race already so like broad, right. But also that there's different generations, right? There's like the 1.5. There's also the ones who were born in their, mother country, right? To where, coming over here, I mean, obviously it's, mental health may not still exist or whatever it may be. And then there's also the new generation, right? Where, us who are born here in the U.S., who, have some of those like, Western values and beliefs, right? But then also understand too the, the Asian culture and all that. So, it's kind of hard to say, and but my hope is that it would change as more clinicians like myself, right, and others come along, right, and change the mental health language, and also that Asian American clients are also more willing to enter mental health counseling as well.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
Have you ever made the statement that you had a gut feeling, or you had to make a gut-wrenching decision? That's simply because your gut is your second brain, and that all disease begins in the gut. It is the foundation to your entire health. When it's balanced, your body thrives. But when it's out of balance, everything from fatigue, weight gain, mood swings, and chronic illness begins. Simply go to mauricemcdonald.net, mauricemcdonald.net, and learn all about P84, an all-natural, organically grown supplement designed to help your body with probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics to help you thrive. Remember, a healthy life starts with a healthy gut. Go to mauricemcdonald.net, mauricemcdonald, and learn all about P84 and get it in your system today. We're back, guys, here on It's About You radio show, WDRB Media, the voice of the community. Time has been going by so quickly all the time. I love the dialogue. I love the discussion. Those of you just coming in now, listening, my former student, MJ Vang, she's here in the studio with me, and we've been talking about counseling itself. She went from a person that wasn't ready for college and in California and failed out of college. And I call it failing forward, because a lot of times you have to fall. Sometimes you just got to fall first. As my mentor said to me, fall fast, fall first, and fall often. Because now you know how to get up.
Absolutely.
Because every time, and people think life's going to be a smooth, straight road. No. Oh, no. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of curves that we face.
Yeah.
And he also said this to me. He said, the curve in the road is the end of the road for those who don't make the turn.
Yeah.
The curve in the road is the end of the road for those who don't make the turn. Because turns will come. And because setbacks, for those students, folks who should be students, wherever you are, go to that college. I started out talking about earlier that sometimes later becomes never. Do it now. Go plug, get started, go enroll, because there's money out here. There's money to go to school. Trust me.
Yeah.
A way to get in school part-time, online, if you got to learn how to do it. And when you get in that school, get plugged into people helping you. So that part is so important. So, MJ, in the time we have remaining, what is a couple things you want them to, or at least one or two things you want my listeners to know based upon some of the stuff that we've been talking about?
Yeah, that while your childhood trauma or any trauma or hard experiences that you've had was not, your fault by any means, it is your responsibility going forward to make different decisions and choices and to, break generational cycles or curses.
Yeah. So whatever happened to you, but it wasn't your fault. And at the end of the day, like you said, we are responsible for where we go from here.
Correct.
And oftentimes people are stuck in the past. You don't know what happened to me back in the day. And let me put that out there. Ladies, young ladies, and adult women, I know the dirty uncle happened. The dirty aunt, the dad, that happened. And from a male perspective, I apologize. Same thing with you, young men. There are grown men who struggle. Some bad things happen to them. And now here they are an adult. It happened 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And now you're still struggling with it. Get help. You cannot, let's put it this way, you cannot heal from things you don't acknowledge.
Absolutely.
You got to acknowledge it. It happened. That was a part of my life, but it's not the end of my life. And I'm going to talk to somebody to help me process through this. Yeah. And it may be painful. There may be some tears. Yeah. But that's okay. That's part of the process. Yeah. Like working out. When you feel the pain when you first start, that's part of the process. That's not time to quit. That's just a part of the process. It won't hurt always. Yeah. And the more we get that help, it is. How can people reach out to you?
Yeah. So they can reach out to me by looking, you can just Google Victory Family Counseling in Concord, or victoryfamilycounseling.com, and I believe it's .com or .org. My apologies, but yeah, and then so I'm part of the clinicians, there on that team. You can also look up my name, Vang, and you'll see my psychology today as well too. which I think should be linked with the Victory Family Counseling.
Victory Family Counseling in Concord, North Carolina.
Yep.
And you also see people also through telehealth as well, that kind of stuff too.
Yep, telehealth and virtual. We accept Medicaid, but I mean, check out the website because it has like all the details of the insurance and what we accept.
What you accept, absolutely. Listen, I love. It's first and foremost. You all will keep me teaching for many, many years because when I think back when you first came into class and kind of quiet and kind of shy and now looking at you now, what you are doing is so amazing, and I am truly, truly, truly appreciative of what you have done and the impact that you've had here, and I'm so proud of you. And I know going forward, you're going to make if you decide to have your own practice, whatever you're going to do, you're going to be amazing. MJ, thank you so much for being a part of the It's About You radio show today. And guys, listen, come back next Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, each and every Tuesday morning for the It's About You radio show here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. And go to MauriceMcDonald.net and learn all about your amazing gut microbiome. And we will see you next week because we're going to be in the building.